Let's definitely continue with the show, looking at the world of Scrabble. Yes, it's no longer news that Wellington Jaheri, that fine Nigerian, has emerged the World Scrabble Champion at the just concluded championships in Perth, Australia. And who else to talk about this, if not a guest that we have in the studio, a special guest at that. We're talking about the president of the Nigeria Scrabble Federation. That's Sulaiman Garba, who joins us, and of course a former president of the federation, Toke Aka. They are here with us to talk Scrabble in Nigeria. What needs to be done to keep the flag flying at this level, and what other things should we be talking about, especially at the grassroots and the schools in terms of development? It's great to have you on the show, Mr. Toke Aka, and of course Mr. Sulaiman Garba. You're welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
All right, let me first of all congratulate you and of course Nigerians for the feat at the World Scrabble Championship. Wellington Jaheri emerging as the World Scrabble Champion in Perth, Australia. Perhaps we should even start by, taking a look at that. How did it all pan out? I mean, what did the Nigeria Scrabble Federation do to get to this level, to record such a feat?
Well, thank you for having us here this morning. The success of Jigiri is predicated on the hard work and dedication of the Scrabble community in Nigeria and the Scrabble board. We started preparation for this World Championship about a year ago. We held about 7 different camping sessions for these players in different parts of the country to prepare them. And that is why even before we left, we kept telling the world that we were going to conquer the world. And we did that. We are not in doubt for any moment that we can do it. For over 10 years now, we have been the second best Scrabble playing nation in the world. If you can remember, because of fun and lack of visa, we were unable to attend the last 2 World Championships. So we prepared for this one. We didn't want to miss it for the 3rd time. And we knew that we have the material. We tell people that if you select the 50 best Scrabble players in Nigeria, they can face anybody in the world. And that's why when you look at the tournaments, especially the Akpabio Classic that takes place in Nigeria, we have invited some of the best 2 world champions, and they have been here, and they were beaten. Some of them, they have to come back the 2nd time for them to win that tournament. It shows you the strength and the character of the Nigerian Scrabbler.
All right, so will you say that definitely that Scrabble is gaining roots in the country? I mean, you talked about the Akpabio Classics. I was also going to find out, what contribution or how important, how crucial is the Classics, to this achievement?
That is the turning point in Nigerian Scrabble, because with the introduction of the Akpabio Classic, we got a platform for us to develop our athletes, than in the Scrabble athletes. If you remember, for 8 years, that great gentleman, who happened to be our national patron, did a great job by providing a platform for us to showcase our best in terms of Scrabble prowess in this country. And I cannot tell you for sure that wherever we are today is as a result of the effort of that great individual who dedicated his time and resources to the development of Scrabble in Nigeria. Also, my predecessor is here, and the person before him, they set the platform, they set the standard, and we started, and that's where we are, because that is the only sporting association that came from nowhere to where we are today, based on the commitment of Scrabble players themselves. The development and evolution of Scrabble in this country is all based on the commitment of those who play the game. We have had little support from people who don't play the game, but those who play the game are people who appreciate it, who have contributed. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, even when he was in law school here in Lagos, was a Scrabbler. He used to come near the stadium and play. And when God took him to the position of governor, he never forgot. And that's why he dedicated so much time, energy, and resources to the development of Scrabble.
Okay, Akas, my question goes to you. Now, he talked about the fact that, you know, they had funds issue, and of course the players, despite that, you know, about 6 players were able to travel. We have 50 players right now, as Scrabble players in Nigeria. So how, those that actually want to start playing the game, how do they get involved in it?
No,
my question goes to
in Nigeria right now, for example, in the Aquabio Classics that we normally do, we have an attendance of over 400 players.
Okay.
So it's not as if we have about 50 players, but the top players in Nigeria who have a rating of about 1,500 and above, about 50, or they're about 60. Those are the top players who can beat any beginner who comes 10 times over. So, but then, Scrabble is a game that, you know, is played everywhere in the country. As soon as you set up a home, the next thing you want to do is have a Scrabble board, because it's an educational game. There's no parent that will say, my child, don't play Scrabble. Because Scrabble, apart from developing your English, your intellect, it also helps in your arithmetic skills. That's where you learn to count at the speed of light. You are adding, you are multiplying. Apart from that, for you to be a top Scrabble player, you must have a wide dictum. You must have a wide knowledge of words. So it's something, right now in Lagos, for example, there is a competition for secondary school students, which is done on an annual basis. So other parts of the country, there are lots of clubs all over the country, because we developed the club concept, where we say there must be a minimum of 7 players for you to form a club. And we usually have an annual inter-club competition. So, but where we have not done the best is in the secondary schools and the primary schools. Because some 4 years ago, the world youth champion was an 11-year-old boy. And the world youth is actually for players under 17. As at the 1st of January, any year the World Youth Championship is taking place, you must not have been 17.
Okay.
So that is a platform that we know if we continue to support. Because parents are always willing to send their kids to go for this championship, even from their own pocket. So it's just left for us now to develop it, introduce it in all the schools, and it's going to be a blessing.
Which brings me to the issue of promoting definitely the sport, you know, like you talked about in the schools, especially at the grassroots as well.
I believe it is the easiest sport to promote in this country, because there's no parent that will say, don't play Scrabble.
Yes.
You want to develop your English, play Scrabble, read the dictionary the more. Jiggery Wellington, for example, owes his ability to be the best Scrabble player to the study of the dictionary. He said his uncle bought him a dictionary when he was still in the early years of the secondary school. And he loved reading the dictionary so much, which has made him become so versed in lots of words. He was the only player who played throughout the championship, and none of his words challenged was found not to be in the dictionary. And there was no single word that he challenged that remained on the board.
Incredible. I just want to say, being the best placed country at the championship, what are the plans to keep the momentum going?
Yeah, like he did mention, the club championship is the in thing. We have a very big club activity in this country, just like you have in football. It's just that people don't know it. But Scrabble is sustained through the club, and that is the future of Scrabble in this country. What we have done is, in the last 2 years, we have introduced this spelling bee together with Scrabble in the secondary and primary schools. This year, even about a month ago, we held the Scrabble bee competition in the Northwest. We have done it in the Northeast. We are now going to do it in the Southwest. And we also had a workshop whereby we had over 500 kids that gathered in Uyo early in the year, whereby we held another Scrabble competition, in addition to the one that normally takes place in Lagos every year. So you can see the future and the sustainability is based on our Scrabble in the secondary schools and at the club level.
Okay, now 2017 in France, that's the next championship, and now with Nigeria being the world champions, giving up a kind of more opportunity to have more players. So how will you guys be prepared for this?
Well, immediately we finished the celebration because we are still celebrating the success.
Yeah, we can understand.
We have said to people before that our target was to become #1 in the world, and we are not #1. We won the World Championship. We also won the team event. We came out as the best team in the whole tournament. So we have the team championship and we have the individual championship. So that is a plus for us. So after the celebration, we'll go back to the drawing board and start preparing. Like I told you, it took us 1 year plus to prepare for this championship. And we know that we have to start our preparation immediately. We don't have to wait till next year before we do that. It will be around September. So immediately we finish our celebration, we'll go back to the drawing board, and I can assure you, we'll make the nation proud again.
How many athletes are we expecting to go for the championships now? Because there's an increase in it by virtue of the fact that we are ruling the world right now.
Definitely, you know, what really happened is there is allocation that's given to countries based on their performance. Okay. We had 6. Normally, you have the side events whereby you can go with as many as 30, 40 players. Okay. If you go to side events, what that does is for you to prepare them, open them to the exposure they need in that kind of championship. But we are hoping by the time the West Park Committee, he happened to be a board member of the world body. By the time they finish their board meeting and they decide the new allocation, we will know the number of slots they are going to give Nigeria more. Okay. But for now, we have 6, and we hope we'll be able to get 2 or 3 more.
Okay. And at least all the 6 definitely are they're in good rankings, definitely.
Definitely the 6 are there. And let me tell you something. One thing that affected us was the kind of thing that was done by the Australian embassy. Because we were frustrated until the day of departure before we got our visa. Even though we applied long before that, and it spelled that in 3 weeks. On the day we were to depart, that was when they brought our visa. We even lost our flight that day because we had no show at the airport. We have to struggle to book the next day, and you know what I mean? It cost us money to get another flight. And we went through different routes from here to Bangkok, Bangkok to Kuala Lumpur to Perth. Wow. And these players arrived few hours to the commencement of the game. Wow. And you can see, for some of them, they have never traveled out of the country. And for them to go that kind of journey, the jet lag and the ability to stay and come top, we believe that if they had 2 days rest, they would have done better. Much better. We were sure that our players would have been within the first 10 or at least 20. But still, we had the world champions. Some of them we had 17, 16, and all that within the top 50 in the world.
Which is good.
Which is good.
Yes. Very remarkable, and we're definitely delighted, and we hope that we'll continue to see great things coming out from Wellington Jeheri and, of course, the other participants at the just concluded World Scrabble Championship. Good luck to the NSF, definitely. We thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you for having us this morning.